Hello students, I am your English mentor and today I have come to you with a very interesting chapter and it's called The Elves and the Shoemaker. So herein we are going to understand a very beautiful chapter with a very interesting moral. So are you excited to know what happens in this chapter? Yes, let's begin. So, this story is about a poor shoemaker whose life changes when magic happens. So, as you can see, he is a shoemaker, but he was also poor. But his life changed altogether when a magic happened. So, let us read to find out more. So, let's read and find out what this magic was. So, once there lived a poor shoemaker. Once upon a time, there lived a poor shoemaker. Though he was very honest and hardworking, he never made enough money. Although he was very honest and hardworking, still he couldn't make a lot of money. His wife ran the household with great difficulty. So it was very difficult for his wife to run the entire family and household because he was not able to make a lot of money. Sometimes they just had a piece of bread to eat, and there were times when they just had a piece of bread to eat. So the shoemaker started saving money and finally had enough to buy a piece of leather. So he kept on saving money so that he could finally buy a piece of leather. He could make only one pair of shoes with it. Now, with the leather that he had purchased, he could make only one pair of shoes with that. He prepared the leather at night, leaving it ready on his table. He decided to make the pair of shoes the next day. So he would just make the entire preparation and also he would leave it to complete it for the next day. He slept happily that night, thinking of a pair of shoes he would make the next day. So he would happily sleep thinking about the pair of shoes he will make and sell in the market. In the morning, after had his meager meal and said his prayers, he entered the room where he worked. So when he woke up in the morning and after having his meager means small food because they were poor, they were not able to eat a lot, which is why he had his small portion of meal and after that he went to the room where he used to work. So on his work table stood a beautiful pair of fancy shoes. So when he entered the room, he found a very beautiful pair of fancy shoes. The shoemaker was completely taken aback. So the shoemaker was very surprised when he saw a beautiful pair of shoes on the table already completed. So if you know students, just a night before, he had made the entire preparations to make a shoe, but on the next day he found that the shoes were already made. He was so surprised that he rushed to call his wife, and he was so surprised by that action that he immediately called his wife. When he told her what he had seen, she could not believe him. So when he told her that I kept the shoe leather raw, I wanted to complete it today, but now in the morning when I saw it, it was already completed. His wife could not even believe him. The shoemaker then brought his wife to the room and she was amazed to see the attractive pair of shoes there. So the shoemaker then called her to the same room and she was also amazed. She was also shocked to see the beautiful pair of shoes. So the shoemaker took the shoes in his hands and turned them to admire the stitching and used the piece of leather. He had tears in his eyes. So basically, when he took the pair of shoes in his hand, they were so beautiful and he kept on admiring how it was made that he even had tears in his eyes. He thanked God for this miracle and soon set the pair on the wooden shelf. So he thanked God for this beautiful magic that God has done himself, and he found this beautiful piece of pair of shoes, and he displayed it on his window shelf. A rich merchant was passing by the shoemaker's window. When he spotted the attractive pair of shoes, he went inside and brought it for a handsome price. So there was a rich merchant, there was a rich person who was passing by the street, and he saw that beautiful pair of shoes, and he paid a very good amount to buy that pair of shoes. After ages, the shoemaker and his wife could have a proper meal that day. So it was because of this rich merchant that both the husband and wife were able to eat properly after so many years of hard work. The shoemaker brought more leather to make two pair of shoes that evening. So on the same evening, he got leather to make two pair of shoes. Previously, he got leather to make just one pair, but this time he got leather to make two pair of shoes. He cut and shaped shoes with great love and care. So he did his entire work with a lot of love and care. By the end of the evening, he was tired. He laid everything out and left the room. So he was tired by the end of the day. Why? Because he had shaped shoes and cut them in proper pieces. So he thought he would come back the next morning to complete the work. So he thought that when he wakes up next morning, he is going to complete making the pair of shoes and he will sell it again. So next morning, the shoemaker woke up early. He bathed and prayed, ate his humble breakfast, and then stepped into the room where he worked. So the next morning again, he woke up a little early. Why? Because he had to make two pair of shoes. And once he did that, he just woke up and also he took a bath and then he prayed to God. He had a humble breakfast. Humble here means a simple breakfast, and after that he quickly went to his work table. So lo and behold, he again found two stylish pair of shoes waiting for him on his work table. With a prayer on his lips and a tear in his eye, the shoemaker once again thanked God for this miracle. So when he entered his workroom, he again found two very beautiful pair of shoes, and again while he was praying, he thanked God because he found that beautiful pair of shoes in his work table. And he thanked God for his fortune. Fortune means the riches, for the good luck. So that day, two more rich clients brought the shoes at a good price. So two more new buyers came. They were both rich. So they got that pair of shoes for a very good price. Again, the shoemaker brought leather and left it in the room. The next day, the shoemaker found four pair of attractive new shoes on his work table. This went on for some time. So, so this kept on happening that he would buy leather, cut it into pieces, leave it for the night, and next day he would find very attractive pair of shoes on his work table. The shoemaker had now become very rich. So he became quite rich. This means that he had a lot of money now. So he could buy lots of leather and make many shoes at once. So he could afford to buy a lot of leather and even make good shoes out of it. Before Christmas, the shoemaker's wife suggested they find out who was helping them with the shoes at night. So it was Christmas time, and his wife suggested that before Christmas we should understand and identify that who helps us during the night time when we go to sleep, and somebody must be making these shoes just for us. So the couple hid behind the curtain of the workroom and stood in absolute silence. So one night they decided to keep the leather shapes in pieces and see who comes in the night time to help them. So they both hid behind the curtain and made no noise. Right after midnight, the window opened and the two small elves entered the room. So, right after 12 o'clock in the night time, the window opened of the room and two elves entered the room. They were dressed in dirty and torn clothes. They sang and hummed to themselves and worked on the pieces of leather sitting on the table. So they were sitting on the table and were humming songs and also stitching those shoes. They were also wearing very dirty and torn clothes. Dirty means very untidy and torn means that they were not wearing clothes of very good quality. The shoemaker and his wife were so grateful that they nearly came out of their hiding place and thanked them. But they did not move from their hiding place so as not to scare the elves. They really wanted to come out of from behind the curtains and thank those elves for being so helpful to them, but they did not do so because they did not want to scare the elves. So the next day the shoemaker found his wife stitching small clothes for the elves. He was happy as he wanted to thank the elves but could not think of a better way. Now they observed that the elves were wearing very dirty and torn clothes. So the next day, the wife started stitching new small clothes for the size of elves, and the husband was also very happy because he couldn't find a better way of thanking them. That night, the shoemaker and his wife left the new clothes on the work table and left the room silently. After a while, the elves came as usual, looking for the pieces of leather that the shoemaker would have left behind. So, on the same night, they kept those pieces of clothes on the table and left the room. And just like a normal day, elves would come after midnight and they would want to find leather pieces which the shoemaker had left. But instead, they found two sets of clothes for themselves. But today, what did they find? They found two very beautiful set of clothes. The elves were extremely happy. They took the clothes and jumped through the window, singing and dancing merrily. So they took the clothes, they wore them, and they were super happy. They sang and danced very happily. So the shoemaker and his wife thanked them silently. The shoemaker now had enough money and he employed a few men to work for him. So now, since he was rich, he could even hire more shoemakers who would help him make those shoes. He was never poor again. A good couple never saw the elves anymore, but they knew that they were somewhere helping other poor and helpless people. So, that good couple never found those elves again, but they knew it that the elves must be helping some other poor and helpless shoemakers or people in general. So, this highlights the fact that when you are honest and hardworking, then God does help us in His own way and He does support us in different forms and ways. So, the lesson for today is that no work is big and small. If we do it honestly, we are always going to get good returns out of it. And now, that was our chapter for today. I hope you understood this chapter. And now we are going to attempt a few questions related to this chapter. First up, we have tick the correct option. Herein, you will get one question. For every one question, you will get three options. Out of those three options, only one option is correct. So, are you going to help me identify what that one option is? Yes. So, what kind of a person was the shoemaker? He was honest, hardworking, or both. He was both honest and hardworking. What for the shoemaker started saving the money? To buy a piece of leather, to buy a piece of bread, or to buy a pair of shoes. He was saving money to buy a piece of leather. After that, what did the shoemaker find on the workplace? a beautiful dress, a beautiful pair of fancy shoes, a pair of dirty shoes. So he found a beautiful pair of fancy shoes. How were the elves dressed in? Fancy clothes, dirty and torn clothes, or new clothes? They were wearing dirty and torn clothes. How, what did the elves do with the new set of clothes? They sang and danced merrily. They reject the clothes, they rip them up. Rip them up means tore them off. No. So they sang and danced happily. Happily means merrily. So now we are supposed to fill in all of these blanks. So the shoemaker's wife ran the household with great difficulty. When the shoemaker saw a beautiful pair of fancy clothes on the table, he was completely taken aback. Or rather, he was shocked. He thanked God to this fortune. The shoemaker had now become quite rich. He found his wife stitching or making small clothes for the elves. The good couple never dashed the elves anymore. They never saw the elves anymore and live happily ever after. And now we are going to attempt the questions on true and false statements. So write T for true and F for false statements. First up we have the shoemaker was honest and hardworking. That's true. His wife ran the household lavishly. Lavishly means very in a very rich manner. No, that's not true. So this was true. This is false. Shoemaker thanked God for the miracle and soon set the pair out on the window shelf. That's also true. Now next up we have some more parts. Later he became more poor. No, he never became poor. So this is false. The shoemaker and his wife thanked the elves silently. So the couple thanked the elves silently. That's also true. Now you are supposed to answer these descriptive questions by yourself in the notebook because you have understood this chapter very nicely. And now we are going to attempt this match the opposites under word building exercise together. So the rich can be matched with poor, honest with dishonest, morning with night, complete with incomplete, attractive with ugly, and helpful with unhelpful. So this is how we matched column A and B with one another. So now we will look at these words. Shoe plus maker becomes shoemaker. Work plus shop becomes workshop. Work plus table becomes work table. And sun plus shine becomes sunshine. So we can join two short words to make a new long word. The long word is called a compound word. So when we join two different words together, we call it a compound word that is being made from them. So shoemaker, work table, workshop and sunshine are all examples of compound words. And now we are going to do a question together based on the same concept. So look at the clues given below and make new compound words. First up we have sun in flower. So this becomes a sunflower. So what will we write here? Sun, flower. Then we have rain in bow. This becomes rainbow. Then we have paint and brush. So this becomes paintbrush. Then we have butter in fly. So this becomes a butterfly. Then we have grass in hopper. So this becomes a grasshopper. Water and melon becomes watermelon. Basket and ball becomes students basketball. And post plus card becomes postcard. So this is how we made compound words out of the different words that we were given. And now next up we have some grammar related concepts. So the shoemaker started saving money and finally bought a piece of leather. So adds one thing to another. When we used the word and, then it had added on to the sentence with one thing or the other. Now, the elves had come to work, but they found two pair of new clothes. So this shows contrast, that what did they come for and what did they find. And then I have enough money. So let me buy leather for four pair of shoes. So I have enough money and that shows result or effect of something. Right, students? Yes. Now should I buy leather for one shoe or two shoes? This shows choice, that whether they should buy one pair of shoes or two pair of shoes. So the word or reflects choice here. I do not want to come along, for I have to make these clothes. This explains the reason that I cannot come, for I have to make some clothes today. And then we are poor, yet the elves helped us. Now the couple was poor, but still the elf chose to help them. So this became a logical reason. Now students, you must be thinking that what am I telling you and what is this all about? So basically we are combining two complete sentences together. And how are we able to do that? We are able to do that by using conjunctions. Conjunction words are the words which we use to join two different sentences. So the highlighted words are joining words like and, but, so, or, for, yet. What are they? They are all joining words. They help us to join sentences. Joining words are also called conjunctions. As I told you, the joining words are also called conjunctions. And now we are going to attempt one exercise related to it. Now use the conjunctions to join these sentences and rewrite them. So first up we have the cat is naughty, the cat is sweet. So we are going to write the cat is naughty yet sweet, or the cat is naughty but sweet. Ashima drove fast. Ashima could not reach the office. So what are we going to use? And, but, so, or, for, yet. So this again shows but, that Ashima drove fast but she could not reach the office. So Ashima and then we have you must learn, you will not clear the exam. You must learn or you will not be able to clear the exam. So this is how we attempted 3 parts of it, and now you are going to attempt the other 2 parts, and do not forget to join these 2 sentences by using a joining word or conjunctions. Next up we have one more exercise. The conjunctions have been used incorrectly in these sentences. Rewrite them correctly. So herein conjunctions have already been used. So we have to change it and use the one which is correct. So Rohan ate a lot or he was very hungry. No, Rohan ate a lot because he was very hungry. And then she loves to cook, for I need a new stove. She loves to cook, so I need a new stove. And then they will see the peacock but the rhino at the zoo. No, the correct form should be that they will see the peacock and the rhino at the zoo. And now you are going to attempt the other 2 parts by yourself in the book. And do not forget to use the right conjunction or the joining word. Next up, you are going to attempt this listening time and pronunciation activity, followed by a let's write and a life skill example. So herein, people do different jobs to earn money. No job is small or big. We must give equal respect to all the jobs. So no work in this entire world is either big or small. People, as per their own capabilities, do different jobs. And this is what makes each individual beautiful and different. So we should always give equal respect to all the professions and types of work, because no work is big or small. We should never judge people by the money they make or the work they do. We should always respect one and all in a way that they are doing their best work. And lastly, you are going to attempt this fun time exercise because you have started so hard and now you deserve to make some fun. So, practice and do it with your friends. Now, I'll see you in the next session with one more new topic. Till then, take care and bye bye.